started. We have Bill Jackson is on the line for the community garden. I believe user one is Chairman DiLorenzo, and caller 2, Karen Pagliaro. Carol Goldberger is on, Joseph Mazza, Carl Lewis, Marlo, Robert Ramsey, Steve Wood, again for the garden, and Tom Heisler. Have I missed anyone that's on the call?
Is Mary Kay LaRosen?
Mary Catherine told me that she would not be joining, as did Guy Hoffman.
Okay.
I'm sorry. They both sent emails saying they would not be joining the meeting.
Okay. Got it. Thank you. So Maureen, before we get going, did everybody get last month's minutes? Hello, everybody.
Yes.
Did you get last month's minutes? Because we need to approve those and move along there too. So if anybody has any modifications.
Mute your phones if at all possible, if you're not speaking, and then unmute when you're going to speak.
Did they send my insurance paperwork too? For my FSA?
Maureen?
Okay. I'm thinking I might be the one that's causing an issue, but no, I just muted and I'm not. If you're not speaking, please mute your line. Otherwise, I may mute everyone and only unmute Michael and I. If I may, Michael, can I read the script for the meeting to introduce the meeting? Can everyone hear me? Can anyone hear me? Okay. How about Michael? Is he still on the line?
Can you hear me?
Is that Mike? Oh, yep, there you are. Okay, now I can hear you.
Me?
Yep.
Can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear us? Oh, you got on. You're on video.
Yeah, I got on. Well, we're giving it a try.
Did you get the script for the meeting? The introduction? Yes. Okay, do you want to read that just to start the meeting with the recorder going?
The Conservation Commission will meet remotely on Tuesday, June 9th, 2020 at 6:30 p.m. for the purposes of holding a regular meeting on the following matters. The public can call into this meeting, and if you would like to listen in, please call the number 1-701-802-5317 and then put in the access PIN code 847264#. The agenda will be posted on the town's website and will be available for viewing 24 hours prior to the meeting. And we went through the roll call.
We did.
Should we do it one more? Okay.
Yeah, I think we should.
Karen, are you still with us? Karen Pags?
I think we lost Karen and we lost a caller. That was Karen was the caller, right?
Right, and Carl was the video. All right, listen, we'll just keep going because I think this is the way it works. We'll be going in and out.
Okay.
Or hopefully not too much. Hi, Bill. Thanks for coming back. And Steve Wood, are you here online too?
Yes, I am.
Hi, Steve.
How are you?
Thanks for joining us too. So, did I lose? No, there's Steve. So we need a motion first to approve or modify as needed the minutes of last month's meeting. So, and then we could, good background. So, do we have a motion? Hello? Let's see, we only got Joe. Who's on? Just Joe?
I'll make the motion. Motion to accept the minutes.
Could,
Is that Rob?
Yes.
That was Rob Ramsey. Thanks, Rob.
Yep.
each time, this is Maureen, each time somebody speaks, could you please state your name, even though it's on video for some, on the recording that's not clear? So just state your name as far as, and then what you're going to say. Thank you.
I'm Tom Heisler, and I second that motion.
Thank you. So if there's no other corrections, all in favor of accepting the minutes as written, please say aye.
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 Opposed? So moved. Thank you. So we'll get going. Maureen, if you're still there, or you froze on my
I am.
screen, I hope you can hear. Okay. So we like to always keep our tradition going and have our guests go first. So we have Bill Jackson, our garden liaison, and Steve Wood from grounds. And we are going to continue our discussion that we started last month, I believe, on the, we'll call it the water, the well situation at the community garden. So, Bill, we did get your, if you want to bring us up to speed, you did get an estimate for a solar pump or an improved flow rate pump, and can you give us a summary of that?
Sure. So the issue is that the replacement pump has been proposed. This is Bill Jackson. The replacement pump has been proposed because a number of the gardeners wish to directly water their gardens, and the existing pumping system is inadequate to do that, to support that. And the impellers are burning out, and so a number of the gardeners have asked for running water, and so we've proposed this system to beef up the pumping system for a better water flow and a more reliable water flow at the garden. However, I want to make a couple of points. The first point that I want to make is that this will not provide running water. Without an electrical service or without a municipal water connection, the garden will not have running water. There will always be a limitation to the water as long as we're working off 12-volt batteries recharged by solar panels. Second point that I wanted to make was that this system is a little more complicated than the existing system, and it will require installation, it will require oversight and maintenance, and it will require to be mothballed or taken down seasonally and then reinstalled. And those are the 2 points that I wanted to make.
So, Bill, that option would not provide watering directly to the plots. It would what? Just increase the flow rate for them to fill up their containers?
This may allow gardeners to directly water their plots. My point is that without an electrical service or without a municipal water source, running water like we're accustomed to in our homes, we will not achieve running water at the garden. There will be a limitation. The current limitation is the pump impeller. It can't handle that level of use. What the limitation is for this, it could be the batteries. In other words, there will always be a limitation to, no one will get all the water that they could potentially want. There will always be a limitation.
Okay.
Working with 12-volt batteries.
Plus, some of them got used to having the mystery pump that was there before, so they know what a larger or capacity pump will do. So Steve, if you're still on, I know that, that you said you wanted to look into, by the way, Steve, are you still there?
Yes, I am.
Hi, Steve. One thing I want to say before we go further is we say this quite often here, and it's probably not said enough directly, but you and your team have always really been great for the gardeners and actually for any open space trail maintenance issues that we had over the years, and we really appreciate it. You guys are very responsive and right on it. So I want to make sure that we formally thank you once again, and thank you. So
Thank you very much. I'm glad to have a great team.
yeah, you do, and it shows. So thanks. So you've been kind of part of this whole well discussion, and you had a thought or an idea that you can you share it with us?
Yeah, my idea is a lot more expensive than Bill's. I was at first hoping that we could tap in, that there would be running water on Orchard Road, and unfortunately there's not. So we started reaching out to Bigelow Electric out of Berlin, looking into adding a service to have Eversource connect and drop down, and then have a continuous circuit breaker 100 amp with a Eversource connection where we would trench into the garden, install a pump. It would be a continuous pump, and what that means is you could never hook up a sprinkler or like a sprinkler nozzle to that. The way these systems are meant is to constantly run. So a gardener could take it, stretch it out 150, 200 feet, water at 10 to 12 gallons a minute with a continuous flow and never have any problems. With that cost comes a lot of additional costs. I reached out to a local pole company, and a telephone pole is around $800. It's $400 to buy it, $400 to get it delivered. I asked if we could pick it up ourselves, and they informed me no, they have to deliver it. That's how they make their money. The pump,
Yeah, sure.
depends what you're looking for. If you're looking for a Wayne or anything else, you're looking somewhere between $350 and $500, which would still be able to house inside the Rubbermaid container that's currently on site. And I don't know about that, but 25 gallons a minute is more than our house currently will pump out. So I think anything between 10 to 15 would be more than adequate. Currently, we're getting 1.5 to 2 gallons a minute through the solar panels that are there. If we're able to go with an overhead service, the connection from CL&P would be free. The town has adopted a rule or an ordinance that all new services need to go underground. If that is the case, Eversource is $500 for the box, and then we just have to find a way to connect it. So we're looking on the high side, not going underground, somewhere around, it looks like, we'll say $3,500 on the high side.
And that is the pole, the connection to Eversource, the pump, and the work involved to put it in. Does that include Bigelow Electric too?
Yes, Bigelow Electric is $2,000 for the service itself, for the 100 amp service.
Mm-hmm. So, and this kind of pump, you said it's a continuous pump. So does that mean that somebody would walk over to a switch, turn it on, and the water would start flowing, and they'd have to walk quickly over to wherever their plot is and stretch their hose out and do their thing, and then walk back and turn it off?
Exactly. They could take the hose that's usually right there wrapped up that Bill currently fills all the drums with. I would imagine it would work as the same as the solar pump that is there now. Flip the switch, and then they would just have a continuous flow of water. Or if they wanted to stretch it out to their plot, then go and turn it on and walk back, they'd be okay with that as well.
Okay. Is there any, this is for you and Bill, would there be any risk when that happened? Obviously, the water usage would go way up. Would there be any risk of, for lack of a better word, running the well dry? I mean, I know it's a high water table over there, but I can see a lot of waste too, but I just want to cover everything.
Well, I'm assuming that the pump, I if the town were to move in this direction to an electrical service, then I would request that well, first of all, I have a question about the nature of the pump. Steve, is this a submersible pump or is it a above ground pump?
I believe they call it a shallow well pump. I have a
Okay.
video I can send to Maureen afterwards of somebody connecting and hooking up and explaining exactly how it works, but it's considered a shallow well pump.
I'm
So
sorry.
it's shallow well pump. Shallow well pump.
I would recommend some controls, some probes be put in the well. If the water level in the well reaches a certain level, which would endanger the pump, then the pump would shut off. I would recommend that such controls be put in to support the pump.
So you're talking an automatic shut off if the water level gets below the pump. Is that an option for a pump or something that has to be added after the fact?
I'm not familiar with the pumping system, but if that were the case, we were talking about the potential limitation, the potential downfall or pitfall with respect to this type of scenario affecting the pump, overuse of the water. And I would say that if there were water level controls in the well that shut the pump off, if the water level reached a certain height in the well, the well itself is very transmissive. We that gasoline powered pump that you talked about earlier, that pumped at 10 gallons per minute, that only lowered the water table in the well approximately 1 foot. So the well is very transmissive, has a good transmissivity, but it wouldn't be a bad idea if to put some controls in the well too, to protect the pump.
Thanks. Steve, are there any other considerations besides those controls just because it's in a remote location? And is there any kind of other automatic shut off of the switch or the power itself? Is it possible that a gardener would forget that it was and leave it on too?
I don't know, but if that is a concern, I would imagine we can put a time clock system into it where it would only pump during a certain amount of time. So if we decide that we only want running water from 6 a.m. till 9 p.m., it would automatically turn on and automatically turn off. So this could never happen where it would be left on continuously for vandalism or throughout the night.
That's a great idea. That's a good idea.
But it sounds, not to speak out of turn, but it sounds like Bill's system that he's thinking is more complex than a shallow well pump. Just because I think it's only got a 4-inch inner diameter, and we're not going to be able to fit that big of a pump down into it unless we were to re-weld the whole pipe itself.
Okay.
Budget, or way out of your budget.
And Joe Mazza, Stephen, if we had to do below ground, how much would that add to the cost?
Joe, I do not know that. It would take me a couple days to do some research and see what that would cost. Because I would imagine we'd have to find someone who's bonded and who can do underground cables.
Yeah, I guess whose call would it be, whether it would have to be below ground or whether we could go above ground? Is that the town attorney?
Hi, this is Maureen. Looking into whether that zoning regulation would apply. I actually don't think it is going to apply for you're talking about the electrical service,
Yeah.
correct? Okay, yeah. I think we can go above ground, at least to the pole that we get installed, and then if Steve, correct me if I'm wrong, but from the pole on at the garden, you drop the service to go underground into that to the pump itself, correct?
Correct, Maureen. Everything else will be underground from the pole on.
So it's where it crosses the road. I think I do not but I wanted to hold that in check until I checked with several people and double check the regulations as well. But the provision does not seem to apply because we're not doing a subdivision. So I want to make sure there's no other provision that I'm going to be that I missed.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions about this potential solution?
I'd like to throw out a few staff comments if I can. We did get a feedback through this office from a couple of gardeners who remember what was evidently the glory days of the gas generator that was out there that fueled the pump and how much water per minute they got and how great that was. I also understand that that was also a failing and older system with air quality standards that would not be what a generator would serve today. So Steve and I did have a conversation about whether, that's the kind of alternative that, rather what are all the alternatives and if that would be included as one. And one we have with having to have a generator is the fact that the generator would have to be another piece of equipment out there that is subject to vandalism and noise as well. It'll be louder than than any electrical service would be. The solar not providing the rate of service that many of the gardeners seem interested in, and if the electrical service can be kept in check, it ends up at probably a lesser cost than the higher solar pump, the more advanced solar pump. Steve, did I miss any of the points we had talked about?
Nope.
As far as
pretty good.
All right. I just wanted to give an overview of, it's not an all or nothing as far as one option. These were the different kinds of options that were looked into and why. And the feedback I also got from gardeners, coming directly to the office.
Thanks. This is Michael again. Steve, so basically you're thinking approximately $3,500 plus or minus maybe $4,000 worst case scenario for the whole thing?
Yes. What I'd like to do over the next several weeks is come up with a more accurate cost analysis of exactly what it would cost. Sometimes when you get into these, you find out there's a hidden charge of $400, $500, $600, and I don't want to come back to you in a couple of months and say, you know what, we had $3,500 and now we're at $42. I almost fell over when I found out the cost of the pole today. The last one we bought 2 years ago was $400. 2 years later, now it's $800. So that's double the price.
Steve, and if we do get electrical service over there, is there a meter? Is it now that's a cost to the town?
Correct. There would be a monthly meter charge. Currently, right now we have. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say that. I mean, I'm sure it's minimal usage, but do you have any experience similar locations in town?
Well, Percival Soccer Field has a meter that's not used for 7 to 9 months of the year, and I want to say on average the bill is like $23. During the busier time, you might look at something between $50 and $75. So there is a monthly cost, but it's nothing too astronomical running a half a horsepower for a couple of hours for 6 or 7 months.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
No, thank you. That's great, and we look forward. If anybody else doesn't have any, if you have any more questions, now's the time while Steve's still with us, and Steve and Bill. So, if not, so Steve, thanks. We'll just keep in touch and look forward to what else that you find out, and we'll just keep moving. See if we can come up with something.
We lost you, Steve. You froze.
Sorry about that. Thank you for inviting me. I will send Maureen an email of kind of like the pump and what I was thinking about installing out at the garden.
Thanks again, Steve. Again, really appreciate what you and your team do for the town's open space and including the garden. So appreciate it. Have a good night.
Have a good night. Bye-bye.
You too. Okay. Bill left too. Okay. Thank you. So we kind of jumped out of order there, but we always do that when we have guests. So that was use of town lands, the Hatchery Brook Community Gardens. Maureen, do we have anything to add to the new business? You have Metro Realty, a project on Deming Road.
Well, I actually wanted to circle back to the community garden for a minute, because
Okay,
it does
sure.
seem to be an issue that the gardeners, being July, and a very dry July at that, and June, are very concerned with. I want to follow the lead of what the commission is used to doing and how the commission is comfortable with acting and moving forward, etc. But just wondering if you wanted to have a little discussion as to where, if you guys have any indication of which you think is the preferable way to go, amount that you think would be reasonable to pursue, or the possibility of having a special meeting in order to move forward with actually getting something installed for this year. I mean, there's lots of options here we have. And again, we do have the impellers for the pump that keeps failing. We have a stockpile of those that Steve is just, replacing them as needed. But that pump is the impellers go frequently. So I just am curious as to how you want to move forward, or it's next month, and that's fine too.
This is Michael again. My inclination is we have to just keep going the way we're going right now, because we don't have the solution just yet. Sounds like we're heading in the right direction, but it's not going to happen right away. It has been a dry summer, and I'm glad to hear you got a lot of impellers, but I think we're just going to have to limp along right there. I'm not sure there's anything else that can be done at this point.
Okay, that's a fine plan, and one I can transfer to the gardeners. And I think that both Bill and Steve are working to try to get the containers filled during the day so that those can be filled for the gardeners that arrive. They do have, the containers that are filled with water and do have the water available. Just not at the rate they'd like to see it flow. And that's fine. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's Joe Mazza, Michael. I was wondering too, from a budget standpoint, I forget the number that Steve mentioned, but it probably is that we don't have that amount in the budget, right?
Maureen, I'll need your help here. We don't have it in the conservation budget, but I think we have it in the garden budget.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there's probably money that can be moved around to yeah, I'm not on mute. I keep muting myself, so I want to make sure I wasn't muted. That's probably about where we are as far as money to move around. I didn't go to finance to try to work that out yet, to figure out exactly where it would come from and what the other costs of the year may be to the garden. or to conservation if we needed to share some of the funds.
Okay. Joe and everybody else, I do think, I think there was a little more than that amount the last time we had this discussion. Because I know I think we did this a couple months when we first started talking about the well and the issue. So, good question, Joe. I mean, we'll have to figure it out somehow, whatever it comes out to be.
Yeah,
And
I
then,
was thinking, oh, I'm sorry,
go ahead.
Michael.
No,
No,
go
I was
ahead.
just going to
Direct.
say, I was thinking too that if if we agree it's the right direction and then it becomes a funding problem, perhaps we could put the electrical service in and then come back the following season and put the new pump in or something like that to spread it over 2 fiscal years or over a larger period.
I guess that's an idea too. Yeah, you're right. Good point. Yeah, because next spring we'll have a new influx of gardeners too, with a little more income to help out there too. So maybe that's a good idea. Let's see what Steve Wood comes up with, and then we'll be able to have a better idea of what we're talking about.
Okay, thanks.
Anybody? Sound good, everybody, on the garden part?
I think I just saw that Steve sent me something. Yeah, he sent me the video for the pump, it must be. I won't open it now, but I just saw that it came into my inbox. So I'll forward that to all of you tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
I'm watching.
All right, so are we good with the garden, Maureen?
Yeah, I think so. I just wanted to, comment on that. And again, yeah, I mean, you mentioned Steve Wood. I also want to comment that Bill Jackson has been very attentive, going there every day, filling the containers, as far as I understand, and being the liaison to the gardeners. So,
Yes,
mention that.
Bill. Yep, he's always been a great asset there for that too. So, yeah, thank you, Bill. Even though he's not here, but yeah,
Right.
so I think that's got to be the answer or the message when any further inquiries from the gardeners, that they've got to be patient, and this is, we're working on a solution.
That's fine. Thank you.
Thank you. So do I see Metro Realty, that project? Is there anything else that needs to be added?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay. So can you tell us a little bit about it? I know you sent the link with the drawing.
Yeah, I tried to send as much as I could, knowing that it's very difficult when you don't have a plan to see what's going on. Is everyone familiar with the area where Metro is proposing this project? It's out Deming Road going towards Rocky Hill, right? And yeah, I can't decide where the Rocky Hill and Cromwell line are there. So I'm always commenting that we're headed towards the wrong town. So you pass the traffic light where Eversource's driveway and Bacon Lane are, and then there's 2 small plots and another larger plot that wraps around it to the back, and it's those 3 parcels that Metro Realty owns under different entities, and they're looking to put in a multifamily development there. Primarily concentrated, as you can see from the plans, towards the front of the lot. There are wetlands. They were scheduled for wetlands this month, and wetlands decided to schedule a public hearing on the item, so they'll be having a public hearing on August 4th for discussion of this. I believe it falls within the upland review area, but primarily the wetland areas are out of where the development will be. The Planning and Zoning Commission has their public hearing scheduled, or will be scheduling the public hearing for this for August 6th. in anticipation that wetlands will at least make some progress at their meeting, if not make their decision. And if wetlands has not made their decision, then P&Z will likely have to keep it open in order to get their feedback prior to making any decision. But we'll start at least the public hearing on the 6th, and have it completed if possible. The applicant has, oh, my pictures aren't loading. All of a sudden, I get nothing on my screen. I'm trying to get clues from looking at it. He's been working on a text amendment as well as a map change to have it all fall within the OT zone in order, because the parcels are in different zones right now. And the plans that included, construction starting up near the road and going kind of straight back. That's about all I can say about it. Multifamily units, we are anticipating them to come in as an affordable development, with a good number of the units counting towards our affordable goal, or them having the percentage of affordable so that a significant number of units will be going towards the affordable goal for the town.
And Maureen, it's Joe Mazza. These are apartments or townhouses? What's the format?
Apartments, I believe, but with individual entrances, if I recall his presentation to me correctly. It was a couple of months ago. And like I said, that page is not loading right now.
So there's still going to be a property owner or something that.
It's Metro Realty. They're the group that has a couple of other. They've built others in town, and they have a couple of other similar units. They do this type of unit and do maintain possession of them.
Yeah, because it looked like they had a pretty well developed erosion control plan and even a construction one, but there were lots of comments in there about cleaning the stormwater drains, treating the catch basins, inspecting them and doing all these things. I think the question is always going to be, who's responsible for doing it, and who's responsible or what responsibility is there to verify that those kind of things are actually being done?
Not having worked with one of the developments like that, generally that would be the developer or the maintenance in their maintenance contracts, and something that the property owner is responsible for, and only when there's a violation of an approval does the town become involved. I don't really want to speak for their reputation because I don't personally know it, but I have been informed that they are a group that takes pride in their developments. Okay. And they are presenting that they are intending to maintain ownership and the maintenance of the project, own and manage.
And did you mention it was going in front of wetlands as well?
There's wetlands along the easterly side and through the property. I think the second page.
Yeah, it looked like the stormwater 2 and 3 and their little walking trail was within the 50-foot upland review area.
Prompting wetlands.
Yep.
For the upland review. Again, with the public hearing next month, you have the pleasure of seeing the plans first, including prior to the staff reviews. We actually just got these plans in the other day. Fran just got back from vacation and routed them yesterday. Or is in the process of separating them out and routing them to the 2 departments. So we really have not studied the specifics of the plan.
Yeah, there was one other thing that caught my eye, that the environmental statement that Marlo sent out, or maybe it was you, Maureen, I'm sorry,
It doesn't matter.
mentioned that the state had identified this as a potential turtle habitat. And there's a turtle management plan in the document, but it read more like it's a recommendation. So are they saying they're actually going to do that? Or is, I guess, what responsibility when the state tells them that there's a potential turtle habitat, what do they exactly have to do?
I think I'll put that as something to have them answer and explore.
Good find there, Joe. Is that turtle habitat in the wetlands area, or are they talking about like land tortoises and land turtles?
Joe, did you notice? I haven't read it.
I think it was Eastern box turtle was what they called it.
Yeah, that's a concern. That's a good concern. So, Maureen, are you saying that this is their preliminary plan, and chances are
No.
there's going to be
No,
modifications?
I do believe it's a pretty well-developed plan. They've been working on it for quite some time. We've been focusing with them pre-submission on the zoning parameters of it and the process for which to go through approvals. They have a pretty significant team. McBroom is their engineering firm, which has on one call we had their environmental planner was the one on the lead for the project, as I understood it. So we weren't overly focused on that at the preliminary meetings, because that's all part of the review we're all going to be doing now that we have the submission, and Wetlands has been working on their review already. They began their review previously. Obviously, they were already scheduled the other day, but got scheduled instead for a public hearing. So my thoughts are that the things, the points you're making, I'll include into considerations for the Planning and Zoning Commission to make sure they have answers for prior to or at the public hearing for the review of the project. Unless I'm misunderstanding how these pre-reviews work. We haven't done a whole lot of them. We've done fairly mundane ones for the most part since I stepped in here.
Good, thank you. One final question. Where is the access going to be off of Bacon Lane?
No, it's
Not
on
off
the other side of Deming Road from Bacon Lane. It's on the Eversource side, on the north side of Deming Road, and the access will be off Deming Road, just past the driveway into Eversource.
And just past the driveway. So, just past the driveway.
Not just
Are there
past,
houses
but a
there
bit
now?
past. There's 3 parcels there.
Houses, right?
Let me get if I can grab
All right.
the.
Is it
Hold
before?
on,
So
my
it's
map
before
is all
that.
down at Hatchery Brook. I've got to traverse the town.
Yeah, there was a pretty good picture in the environmental report down at the bottom.
I couldn't open that one. Let's see.
So there is a house at 823 Deming Road, which is one of their parcels, and a house at 833 Deming Road. That house almost has a front that looks kind of log cabin porchish.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm trying. I was going to see. I mean, are you familiar with the owners and whatnot up there? It was Pipkins. for a number of years. That's best I can do on that. Prior to 833 Deming Road purchasing it.
Okay.
And
Anybody
then
else have any?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Just beyond it is then when you go past their 3 parcels, then you get going towards the farm that's up there. There's a couple of houses and then the farm and a Town of Berlin property right along the road.
Okay. Oh, I see. Cold Spring, Little Brook.
I don't know how this will work, guys, but I'm gonna turn my computer towards my other computer screen and see if maybe you can see it. If I talk, my screen should be larger. Can anyone see what I'm
Yeah,
doing? So
Joe's
it's
right. If you open up the environmental report, you can see the aerial view.
probably a better choice
You can see
than trying to see what's on my screen.
you can see the stream going by too. Okay. Might be a good intersection for danger too. Who knows? Because people come flying down that road. Anybody else have any questions about this particular project?
Just to clarify, the development is pretty much along that westerly border of that property, of those properties, rather.
Westerly, the larger size. Okay.
So right along the Eversource line.
Yep, I see it. 33B. Anybody else? If not, so we got the comment about the Joe's comments about the turtle management plan and the I think the other one was more wetlands directed, but
But maintain
anybody else have any?
drainage, the filters, all that. I have that as well.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's wetlands mostly. Okay. Well, so Maureen, is there anything else that you have that we should talk about?
I do not believe so at this time.
Does anybody else have anything that they'd like to bring up? Traditionally, we have not had a meeting in August. So I would say we'll play it by ear, and especially if Steve's working on comes up with something prior to that, maybe we can try this again. Because we don't see anything happening with in-person meetings anytime soon.
Actually, we are starting to transition some of the meetings to in-person. The police commission has done in-person. Tonight, one of the finance committee is doing in-person. The town council is doing in-person and I think each of those is doing in-person as well as virtual at the same time. So the committee members or the commission members are at the meeting, but then there's either phone in or web access, depending on which meeting room it is and what it is. Of course, the number of people attending plays a factor there. The Inland Wetlands actually held their meeting in person with the applicants downstairs in the community center. However, the technology, I'm not, we probably wouldn't be using that room at this point.
Okay.
because of the technology to get, be public accessible. Could happen, but again, we probably wouldn't need a room that size unless the Board of Ed room is the one that the town council used last week. I think is using again next week, and the finance board as well as police commissioners are using. And it has cameras set up in it for the commission members. So we measured. You can sit so far apart. We did kind of a practice run before the town council last week, and it is an option. Virtually like this is also remains an option, as does. Excuse me, 1 minute. It's very dry air in here. The ability for anyone who is not comfortable to go, we want to make sure that they can still attend the meeting virtually, either by phone or by video, for any commission members that aren't comfortable coming to person, as well as members of the public that would want to be at a meeting.
So Maureen, let's just stay in touch in the next couple of weeks and play it by ear and see what we can figure out.
Okay, I'm looking at the calendar now to see whether or not so an August meeting was scheduled. But again, it can be canceled if you guys choose not to have it. But there was one scheduled at the beginning of this year when we did the.
Yeah, we scheduled, yeah. So for everybody, if traditionally, it's kind of vacation time now in August, and I know this year is different than all other years. So if you don't think you're going to be around for the second Tuesday of August, please email myself and Marlo and or Maureen as soon as you know this, so that we can plan and figure out what we need to do. Okay. I'll take that as an okay. Thank you.
If I may make a suggestion, maybe Marlo can include that when she sends out the minutes, just as a note on top of the minutes to say, please let us know if you will be unable to, give us advance warning. Thanks.
Yeah, good idea. In bold font. Thank you. All right. If nobody else has anything, we do need one more thing, and that's a motion to adjourn. Nobody wants to go?
I'll make the motion. Rob Ramsey.
Rob. Thank you, sir.
Tom Heisler, I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. Sorry for all the challenges here, but that's what we're in now. Thanks, everybody. Stay healthy, and maybe we'll see each other in another month or so. Thank you, everybody.
Stay healthy, everybody.
Thanks.
Marlo,
Thanks, guys.
don't leave.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Marlo?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hi.
Hi.
How do I sign off for you?
Oh, I'll
What
send
do I
you
need to?
something. I did that last month. You signed it, sent it back.
Okay. All right.
And if not, we can do it internally too, if we
Okay.
have to.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's right. I think I scanned it and sent it back. Okay.
If that's okay.
Sure. Whatever. That's fine. Thank you, Marlo.
Okay.
Well, Maureen, thanks. Thanks for
Thanks.
doing. Okay. And we'll talk. Let's talk in the next couple of weeks, and hopefully we'll have some information from Steve too.
Yep. And I think we
Okay.
may have a couple of frustrated members because we lost a couple people during the call.
Yeah.
Although I thought we might have lost Caroline, but I did see she just disconnected, so she must have still been on. She was only on by phone. But we lost Karen, and I don't know what happened there. She seemed
sent me an
frustrated
email.
though.
She said she called in voice only, and all she heard was static. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's, you know what, this happens with everybody's remote meetings. You know, it's
Right. I
not
just wanted
not uncommon.
to make sure that, nobody feels
Yeah.
slighted by not being.
You know what? It did. You know what? It went pretty well. I mean, though